A warm welcome to each one of you. As you know, the demand for education is increasing at every level, whether it is school education, whether it is higher education, technical or professional education. In addition to that, there is a growing demand or the growing need, you can say, for the continuous and lifelong education in each and every sector. To meet this both growing demand in general for education and the continuous and lifelong education in this era of information and technological era, educationalists and experts are convinced with the existing mechanisms or the existing infrastructure of educational facilities at any level will not be in a position to cope up with the demand for the education in general. And when you talk about the continuous and lifelong education for the huge numbers in various sectors, it is simply unthinkable that the existing network at any sector, in any sector at every level can cope it with that. What is the alternative then? It's a convincing feeling and a growing, increasing the feeling and the thinking is that you should go for various alternatives if you want to really enhance the capabilities of the workforce in various sectors. What are those various alternatives to the existing system? Basically what we are thinking when you talk about the existing system is the existing educational network or a conventional system. That is what precisely we are talking about. Alternative to this is the very strong emergence of the distance education in the country and all over the world. Within the distance education system, we can use the various modes of the teaching, learning to take place. Whether it is a print material we are talking, whether you are talking about the teleconferencing, whether video teleconferencing, audio teleconferencing or computer conferencing or web-based, there are various alternatives when you think of that one. One of that one is IGNOU from 1993 onwards started using the teleconferencing, one-way video and two-way audio teleconferencing. In 93, in collaboration with ISRO and IGNOU, the teleconferencing exercise started. The major theme, as I said, it is effective teleconferencing techniques. Under this, we have identified the four broad topics. The first one is the basics of teleconferencing. Second one is the pedagogy of teleconference, and presentation techniques is the third title. And the fourth title, what we identified, the research and evaluation for teleconference. To do this one, I am CRK Murthy from STRIDE. I have two another colleagues from the STRIDE, Dr. Madhu Parhar to my right, and Dr. Sanjay Mishra to my left. With the basics of teleconferencing, as I said it, let us see that how we have to proceed from that one. What are the objectives of this particular session on basics of teleconferencing? What we will try to attempt in this session is, let us describe the technology, what are the different types of technology and what are the types of teleconferencing particularly we will be able to discuss in this session. After that, what are the advantages and limitations? Everybody know who are involved in the system and technological, who are using the technology in their teaching learning process. Each media has its advantages and each media has its limitations. Even if it is not, you call the disadvantages, certainly every media has its limitations. We will be touching upon those issues, and we will be touching upon particularly the teleconferencing its uses, specific uses. We will be highlighting that one. And the last issue we want to cover, this one is the very important one, is the planning and management of teleconferencing. The topic which we are discussing here is highly relevant to each colleague or the faculty are involved in the distance education system and distance education methodology. With these few words, I request my colleague Dr. Mishra to start his presentation. Over to Dr. Mishra.
Thank you, Dr. Murthy. The topic that we have chosen is basics of teleconferencing, and when we come to basics of teleconference, we actually see three different types of teleconference: the audio based, video based and computer based teleconferencing system. The audio based teleconferencing systems are basically dependent on the delivery, reception, everything on the basis of audio techniques, and examples of audio based teleconferencing are interactive radio counseling sessions. They are, one can say, some sort of audio teleconferencing system. Telephone mediated instruction is another way of using audio as teleconference medium, but there are other systems of audio graphics where you can actually use audio and some graphical instruction by by use of radio, as well also by use of the audio bridges, and therefore audio conferencing has been used as one of the most cost effective, rather we will say less costlier technology for delivering education and training. The next one is the video based technology. Video based technology is relatively an advantageous rather than an improvement over the audio based technology, particularly because you get video signals as well, and the example is that IGNOU has been using this technology, and particularly we started with one-way video and two-way audio systems, and later on now we have technologies by which we can also have two-way video and two-way audio systems, and these are called video teleconferencing systems. But the third one is the computer based conferencing systems, teleconference system, we can say more commonly said computer conferencing system, and there are various types of computer conferencing systems that we come across. Because of the use of computer, you have at least 4 different types of conferencings. One, you have a text based, the other one you can have audio based, you have video based, and you can have an integrated way of doing everything together. So because it is the computer technology which has the use of an integrated use of media, you are actually in a position to use all this, and this technology particularly in a common sense are used as chat technologies, and the chat is a very common terminology used these days for audio chat, video chat, text chat. These kind of things are going on. All these things we can actually use to a considerable extent for the benefit of our students, for the benefit of our learners, in teaching learning scenario. And what we are going to do is to demonstrate some of these technologies during all these 4 presentations that we are going to do. Today we are actually trying to do something kind of a team teaching approach in teleconference, and let me take you to the other ways of looking at teleconference. The next way of looking at teleconference is the use of different channels. Teleconference are delivered by different technologies, and 2 major technologies that delivers the interaction teleconference are wired technology and the wireless technology. By wired technology I mean the use of telephones, and particularly landline telephones, and by local networks we mean that in an institution you can be in a local area networks, and you can actually use so many other, and EPBX in your institution can also be considered to be one of the use of teleconference. And using a local area network you can also use and deliver computer based teleconferencing systems. The wireless technology are of various types. The RF or radio frequency based technologies, then you have microwave terrestrial communication technology, and we have satellite communication technology. The radio frequency based technologies are basically the mobile technology, the microwave terrestrial technology that we all in India receive the Doordarshan channels, particularly through the terrestrial transmission, that we see a lot of towers from different places, and that towers are actually relay towers for the microwave communication. And the third one, which we are using predominantly these days, is the satellite communication, and the satellite communication has really been a boon for educationists, and we are in a position today to deliver education and training to various remote areas. Let me come to the satellite based technology in detail. What is the satellite? Today we use different kinds of satellite scenario. If you are using a teleconferencing scenario, then we are probably using the INSAT 3C, but when you are in a EduSat environment, the educational satellite, then that is another dedicated satellite for education and training. These satellites are actually sent and placed in a geosynchronous orbit. A geosynchronous orbit is one which is above 36,000 km of the earth surface. From the studio we have a earth station, and this the signals are transmitted to the earth station. From the earth station it goes to the satellite. From the satellite the information gets back to different centers where we have reception centers. Okay, direct reception center with a dish antenna. These days we call receive only terminals, particularly for the EduSat things, from where people can actually use telephone and interact with experts, interact with the faculty sitting in the studio. That is how the return path. And because of the EduSat we now have the places where we have SITs, which call satellite interactive terminals. Earlier this was probably called very small aperture terminal, VSATs, and using this the messages from the satellites are received, and we can use this SITs for return path of video that will come to the headquarter, and that can also be seen all over the SITs as well as direct reception center. So because of this, we are actually having a complex scenario of teaching and learning, where you have large number. This SIT can be many placed, this direct reception center can also be in many places. So that means we are actually going to reach a lot of places. What is that when we say lot many places? Well, you can see that the reception centers can be at home, can be any place. So the planning at the EduSat level, we are having hubs at state capitals where you can have two-way video conferencing system, then you can have SITs at universities and educational institutions, then SITs at higher secondary institutions, colleges, and of course receive-only terminals at schools, from where you can actually have telephone interactions and things of that sort. Here, because of SITs, you have return path of video channels as well. But if you see this picture, what is that we use in EduSat? The EduSat has actually 12 transponders, 6 transponders in Ku band and 6 transponders in extended C band. The extended C band has a coverage, you can see, all over the country, and even to some extent covering the South Asian countries. The extended C band, there are 5 regional beams and 1 national beam. Similarly, in the Ku band you have 5 regional beams, you can see here there are 5 round things, and 1 national beam covering all over the Indian subcontinent. This is the wide coverage of the EduSat, that by using which we can actually reach different corners of the country and to some extent beyond our geographical jurisdiction. The interesting part of the satellite is that the capability of the Ku band. Because of the capability of the Ku band, it provides you numerous other applications. Particular application is the application for satellite internet service. You can actually, the technology enables you to have access to HTTP protocols. Because of the HTTP protocols, you can now provide educational services through a closed group network, that we can say closed group EduSat networks, by which you can receive high speed data transfer, high speed internet. Thus the EduSat has essentially 3 carriers of 3 different media: audio, video and data transfer. In data transfers, it can take, as the Ku band has the facility, depending on the privileges provided,